Imagine a snowy Boston night, where the glow of Christmas lights hides a woman's quiet struggle, torn between ambition and the son who needs her most. What happens when a single moment, a near tragedy, on a bustling street, brings a stranger into her life, unraveling secrets and rekindling hope? In A Christmas Redemption, Eleanor Harper, a driven designer, faces her past at a glittering New Year's Eve gala, where betrayal, love, and a shocking revelation collide. From the heartache of a broken family to the courage of a man rising from the shadows, this story weaves a tapestry of compassion and second chances. Will love triumph over wealth's hollow promises? Can a fractured heart find home again? Join us on this emotional journey, where every twist tugs at your soul, and discover a tale that will linger long after the final page. Don't miss a single moment. Follow Eleanor and Nathan from the first spark to the heart-stopping end. Stay with us and let their story touch your heart. In the heart of Boston, as December's first snow dusted the cobblestone streets, Eleanor Harper, a 42-year-old interior designer, orchestrated her life with the precision of a symphony conductor. Her days revolved around Harper Interiors, her celebrated design firm, and her 8-year-old son, Liam, whose bright eyes and infectious laugh were the only cracks of light in her otherwise tightly scheduled world. The city buzzed with the anticipation of Christmas, its storefronts aglow with twinkling lights and wreaths. But for Eleanor, the season was a reminder of both her triumphs and her losses. One crisp morning, as the scent of pine and cinnamon filled their elegant Back Bay brownstone, Liam stirred in his bed, his small frame buried under a quilt. He tugged at Eleanor's sleeve, his voice thick with sleep. "Mom, just 10 more minutes, please," he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "And no oatmeal today, okay? Can we have pancakes? And I really don't want to go to your studio after school. It's so boring, and all I do is sit there." Eleanor, her auburn hair pulled into a neat bun, knelt beside him, balancing firmness with a warmth she reserved only for him. "No oatmeal, I promise, sweetheart. I'll whip up blueberry pancakes, your favorite. But, Liam, my love, I've got back-to-back meetings, and your nanny's still down with the flu. Marcus, my assistant, will pick you up after school. You're too young to stay home alone, you know that." Her voice softened, her hand brushing a lock of sandy hair from his forehead. "Come on, let's start the day together." Eleanor's life, though draped in the trappings of success, sleek offices, high-profile clients, and a wardrobe of tailored blazers, was a relentless cycle of demands. After dropping Liam at his private school, she'd dive into client consultations, fabric swatches, and project deadlines that often stretched late into the night. Since her divorce from Julian, her ex-husband, and the betrayal by her former business partner, Cassandra, Eleanor had poured herself into rebuilding her career. Starting Harper Interiors from the ashes of her previous firm had been a grueling victory, but it left little time for Liam, whose quiet pleas for her attention tugged at her conscience. That afternoon, as Boston's Christmas lights cast a golden glow over the streets, Marcus, a lanky man in his 30s with a penchant for flashy ties, brought Liam to the studio after soccer practice. Slumped in a velvet armchair amidst mood boards and fabric samples, Liam sighed, his soccer cleats scuffing the polished floor. "Mom, I don't want to be here. It's all sketches and boring stuff. Can I call Dad? Maybe I can stay with him tonight. He hasn't called in forever, and I miss him." Eleanor's heart clenched, a familiar ache surfacing. She nodded, masking her unease with a tight smile. "Of course, darling. Call him, but he's been busy. He might not have time." Liam pulled out his phone, his small fingers trembling with hope as he dialed Julian's number. "Hi, Dad, it's me," he said, his voice bright. "Can we hang out? Maybe get hot chocolate or see the Christmas tree? I miss you." After a long pause, Julian's voice came through, clipped and distant. "Liam, buddy, I'm swamped today. Big project. Maybe this weekend, okay? I'll call you." Liam's shoulders sagged, his lips puckering as he hung up. Eleanor, watching the light drain from his eyes, forced a playful grin. "You know what? I'm taking a break. Let's ditch work early and hit the Christmas market at Faneuil Hall. Giant hot chocolates with whipped cream and marshmallows. How's that sound?" Liam's face lit up, his earlier gloom forgotten. At the bustling market, surrounded by carolers and stalls brimming with ornaments, they sipped steaming drinks and shared powdered sugar-dusted waffles, their laughter mingling with the jingle of bells. Later, back at the studio, Liam doodled in his sketchbook, his tongue poking out in concentration. Eleanor stepped out for a client meeting at a nearby hotel, promising to return soon. When she did, she found Liam curled up asleep on a plush sofa, wrapped in a cashmere throw, his face serene under the soft glow of a desk lamp. As dusk settled, painting the sky in hues of indigo, Eleanor sank into her leather chair, a cup of chamomile tea warming her hands. Her thoughts drifted to her own childhood, a cramped apartment in South Boston, where love was as scarce as heat in winter. Her father, lost to gambling, was a ghost in her life, while her mother, worn down by double shifts, had little warmth to spare. "You're wasting time on those drawings," her mother would snap. "Be a teacher or a nurse, something practical." But Eleanor's talent for design, her sketches of elegant spaces, had been her rebellion against that chaos. Scholarships and late-night shifts as a barista carried her through design school, where she honed a vision that would one day redefine Boston's interiors. At university, she'd met Julian, a charismatic architect with a disarming smile and dreams as bold as hers. They married, built a firm together, and welcomed Liam, whose birth felt like a miracle. But success came at a cost. The grind of running a business strained their bond, and Julian, feeling sidelined after Liam's arrival, grew distant. When Cassandra, their new partner, entered the picture, her charm masked a ruthless ambition. Julian's affair with her shattered Eleanor's world. He left, taking half the firm's assets through cunning legal maneuvers, leaving Eleanor to rebuild alone while raising Liam. Now, as Christmas loomed, Eleanor was determined to give Liam the stability she'd never had, but her long hours meant he often waited at the studio, his boredom a silent reproach. One evening, as she sat lost in these thoughts, a knock at the studio door startled her. Liam stirred, rubbing his eyes, and began his homework, his pencil scratching softly. But boredom soon crept in, and his gaze drifted to the window, where Copley Square's towering Christmas tree sparkled, its lights a siren call. Fueled by a child's curiosity, Liam slipped out while Eleanor was on a call, drawn to the festive chaos of the square. He darted across Dartmouth Street, his sneakers slapping the pavement, unaware of a delivery van barreling toward him. Tires screeched as a strong hand yanked him back to the sidewalk. Trembling, Liam looked up at a man in tattered clothes, his face weathered but kind, his eyes crinkling with concern. "Careful, kid," the man said softly, his voice rough but warm. "You almost got hurt." "What's your name?" "Liam," he sniffled, tears welling. "I just wanted to see the tree. My mom's gonna be so mad." The man knelt, his worn jacket brushing the ground. "I'm Nathan." "No need to cry, you're safe now. Let's get you back before your mom worries." "Where is she?" Liam pointed to the studio. "She's working. I wasn't supposed to leave." Nathan, with a reassuring smile, took his hand. "Come on, let's make this right. No harm done." When Eleanor returned and found Liam gone, panic seized her, her pulse hammering in her ears. She searched the studio, calling his name, her voice cracking. "Liam, where are you?" She checked every corner, her mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Stepping outside, she froze at the sight of Liam walking hand in hand with a disheveled stranger, his clothes patched and hair unkempt. "Who are you?" "Step away from my son," she shouted, her voice sharp with fear, her hands trembling as she pulled Liam close. Liam tugged her arm, his eyes wide. "Mom, don't yell!" "Nathan saved me. I ran across the street, and a van almost hit me. He pulled me back. I'm sorry, I won't do it again." Eleanor's anger dissolved into relief, her knees weak as she hugged Liam tightly, her cheek pressed against his hair. "You scared me to death, sweetheart. Never do that again. You're my everything." Her voice broke, tears brimming. Turning to Nathan, she softened, guilt washing over her. "I'm so sorry for shouting. Thank you for saving him. I was only gone a moment, and he..." She trailed off, her hand still clutching Liam's. Reaching for her wallet, she offered cash, but Nathan shook his head firmly. "I don't want money, ma'am," he said, his voice steady. "I helped because it was right. But if you've got a job, that'd mean more. I'm trying to start over. I can't keep living like this." His eyes, though tired, held a quiet resolve. Moved by his sincerity, Eleanor hesitated, then called Marcus over. "We're swamped with holiday projects. Could we use an extra hand for client errands or studio upkeep?" Marcus frowned, his lips pursing. "Your call, Eleanor, but I don't trust him. He looks rough. What if he's trouble? Stealing or worse?" Eleanor nodded thoughtfully, her gaze lingering on Nathan's earnest face. Let's give him a 2-month trial. He saved Liam, that's worth a chance. To Nathan, she said, "What's your name? Got ID? Ready to work as an assistant here?" Nathan's face brightened, a spark of hope in his eyes. "I'm Nathan Cole. Yes, I've got ID. Thank you, ma'am. I'll start whenever you need. I won't let you down." Eleanor smiled, extending her hand. "I'm Eleanor, lead designer at Harper Interiors. Be here tomorrow at 9. Marcus will show you the ropes." In the weeks that followed, Nathan proved his worth. He handled deliveries, organized client schedules, and maintained the studio with quiet diligence. With his first paycheck, he bought clean clothes, a crisp shirt, and sturdy shoes, got a haircut, and rented a modest room in Dorchester. He bonded with Liam, who shared stories of school and soccer, finding in Nathan a patient listener who never rushed him. Nathan's presence brought a subtle warmth to the studio, like a candle flickering in a drafty room. Marcus, however, grew uneasy. Harboring a quiet affection for Eleanor, he saw Nathan's growing role as a threat. His smiles tightened when Nathan spoke, and his comments carried a barbed edge. One snowy afternoon, Marcus devised a plan to oust him. He asked Nathan to fetch client files from a restricted cabinet, then staged a scene, accusing him of theft. "Eleanor, I caught him rifling through confidential designs," Marcus exclaimed, his voice laced with feigned outrage. "He could sell them to competitors. I warned you about hiring someone like him." Nathan, his jaw tight, met Eleanor's gaze. "I'd never steal. I was only doing what Marcus asked. If you don't trust me, I'll leave before I'm blamed for something I didn't do." His voice was firm, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of hurt. Eleanor, trusting Nathan's character, reviewed security footage, her brow furrowing as she watched Marcus plant the files. Liam, who'd overheard Marcus muttering about framing Nathan, tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, Marcus set him up. I heard him talking about getting Nathan fired because he's jealous. I was behind the sofa." Furious, Eleanor confronted Marcus, her voice cold. "Why, Marcus? You've worked with me for years. What possessed you?" Marcus sneered, his facade crumbling. "He's a nobody, Eleanor, a street rat. I thought I'd teach him his place." Disgusted, Eleanor fired him on the spot, her trust in him shattered. Turning to Nathan, she apologized, her voice heavy with regret. "I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. Thank you for staying honest." Nathan, his shoulders relaxing, shared his past. A childhood shadowed by an alcoholic father, a marriage that ended in betrayal, leaving him penniless, and years on the streets until saving Liam gave him purpose. "I just want a normal life," he said, his voice low. "A job, a home, maybe a family someday." Eleanor listened, her heart stirring with recognition. "We're not so different," she admitted. "I grew up in a broken home too. My ex-husband betrayed me with my business partner, taking half of everything I built. Liam misses him, but Julian barely calls. Yet here we are, still fighting for something better." As Christmas approached, a new challenge emerged. One morning, Eleanor received an invitation to Julian's New Year's Eve gala at the Four Seasons, where he'd announce his engagement to Cassandra. The email was a jolt, its formal tone masking a deeper intent. Moments later, Elena Voss, a major European client, called. "Eleanor, I'll be at the gala," she said, her accent crisp. "I'm eager to discuss a contract for our Milan properties. I admire how you've kept things civil with Julian. Can I count on you to be there? My schedule's tight, I leave the next day." The thought of facing Julian and Cassandra, smug in their new life, churned Eleanor's stomach. But Elena's deal, a multi-million-dollar project, could elevate Harper Interiors and fund community initiatives. Swallowing her pride, Eleanor agreed. "I'll be there, looking forward to it." Hanging up, she stared at the invitation, her mind racing. Why had Julian invited her? Was it to gloat, to rub his happiness in her face? Or was Cassandra behind it, orchestrating a public jab? Either way, the gala was unavoidable. But going alone felt like walking into a lion's den. She needed a shield, someone to stand by her side and show Julian she'd moved on. The next day, as Nathan organized fabric samples, Eleanor approached him, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment. "Nathan, you once said I could count on you. I need your help now, more than ever." She explained the gala, the client, and her dread of facing Julian alone. "Would you pretend to be my partner for the night, just for show to face my ex, and secure this deal? I'll get you a suit, and we'll keep it simple." Nathan's brow furrowed, his hands pausing. "I'd do anything for you, Eleanor, but I won't fit in with that crowd. They'll see I'm not one of them. It could backfire. His voice was gentle, but his eyes held a trace of fear. Eleanor touched his arm, her gaze steady. We'll be quick. I just need Julian to see I'm not broken, that I've moved forward. And this deal could transform our firm, maybe even fund local housing projects. You don't have to say much, just be there. I'll handle the rest. After a moment, Nathan nodded. All right, for you, I'll do it. They planned meticulously. Eleanor chose a tailored Navy suit for him and crafted a backstory. Nathan, a consultant in sustainable design, met her through a project. She selected a shimmering emerald gown for herself, its elegance a quiet armor. On New Year's Eve, the Four Seasons glittered like a jewel, its ballroom alive with champagne flutes and sequined gowns. Eleanor and Nathan entered arm in arm, their ease together, drawing admiring glances. Eleanor's gown caught the light, while Nathan, though nervous, carried himself with quiet dignity. Whispers followed them, guests murmuring about the striking pair. Greeting Julian, Eleanor's smile was cool, her voice steady. Congratulations on your engagement. This is Nathan, my fiancé. Nathan, his hand warm in hers, added, We wish you both joy. I'm lucky to have found someone as remarkable as Eleanor. His words, though rehearsed, carried a sincerity that made Julian's smile falter, his eyes narrowing with a flicker of envy. As Eleanor networked with Elena Voss, discussing sustainable materials for Milan's luxury condos, Julian, emboldened by too many drinks, grabbed the microphone during a toast. A word. Everyone, he slurred, his voice booming. Let's raise a glass to my ex-wife's new fiancé, a homeless drifter she scraped off the streets. My assistant, Marcus, spilled the truth. This fraud doesn't belong here. Security, escort them out. Gasps rippled through the crowd, forks clinking against plates. Eleanor's face burned, her hands clenching. Nathan, his jaw tight, rose and took the microphone, his voice calm but resolute. I'm leaving, but hear this, wealth doesn't make you better. It's about being human. Yes, I was homeless. So what? I've never cheated or lied. Julian, you abandoned Eleanor and Liam for your own gain. They're better off without you. He turned, his eyes meeting Eleanor's, and strode out. Eleanor followed, her heart pounding, ignoring the stares. Outside, as Nathan crossed Boylston Street, a taxi swerved, its tires screeching. The impact was deafening. Nathan crumpled, blood pooling beneath him. Eleanor screamed, dropping to her knees. Nathan, no, please. Bystanders called 911, and paramedics rushed him to Massachusetts General. Eleanor clutching his hand in the ambulance, tears streaming down her face. In the hospital, Nathan slipped into a coma, his prognosis grim. There's likely internal bleeding, the doctor warned. Prepare for any outcome. Eleanor and Liam visited daily, reading aloud from Liam's favorite books, The Hobbit, Harry Potter, hoping their voices would reach him. Liam drew pictures of Christmas trees and soccer fields, taping them to Nathan's bed. Come back, Nathan, he whispered. You're my friend. Days later, as snow fell outside, a client from the Gala, Margaret Klein, approached Eleanor at the studio. Her face, lined with age, was pale with emotion. Eleanor, the first need to speak with you. Nathan, he looks exactly like my late son, James. Her voice trembled as she explained. She and her husband, unable to conceive, had adopted James through a surrogate, Lila, who vanished after delivery. A detective uncovered that Lila had twins, giving one to the Kleins but keeping the other. Nathan, raising him in hardship after her older son's death, drove her family into ruin. I never knew I had another son, Margaret said, tears falling. He grew up suffering, and now he's fighting for his life. I'm his mother, Eleanor, the first need to help him. Stunned, Eleanor shared this at Nathan's bedside, her voice soft but urgent. Nathan, your mom found you. Margaret's here, praying for you. So am I, not just as your boss, but someone who loves you. Liam needs you. Please, wake up. She squeezed his hand, her tears falling onto the blanket. His fingers twitched, then his eyes fluttered open, the monitors beeping wildly. Doctors rushed in, calling it a miracle. Nathan's recovery was arduous. He relearned to speak, to walk, each step a testament to his will. Eleanor, Liam, and Margaret were constants, bringing homemade soup, playing soft music, celebrating each milestone. When he was discharged, Nathan sat with Eleanor in the hospital garden, snow dusting their coats. Your words pulled me back, he said, his voice hoarse. But were they true, or just to save me? I've loved you since we met, but I thought I was too broken for someone like you. Eleanor, with Liam's blessing, took his hand, her eyes shining. "I meant every word. Liam and I need you. Be our family, our home." They shared a tender kiss, their breath mingling in the cold air, sealing a bond forged in trial. Nathan met Margaret and her husband, Paul, at their Beacon Hill mansion, its gardens adorned with ice sculptures. Margaret embraced him, sobbing, "You're our son, Nathan. We were deceived, but you're home now." Nathan, overwhelmed, chose to live with Eleanor and Liam, but promised frequent visits, eager to know his parents. Julian's engagement to Cassandra unraveled amid the Gala's scandal, their mistrust festering. Cassandra, alone and regretful, tried to reconnect with Liam, but her jealousy of Nathan poisoned their time. One night, after a drunken outburst at Liam, she crashed her car, surviving but facing months in recovery. At her bedside, Liam whispered, "I love you, Mom, but Nathan and Eleanor make me happy. Please get better, but don't hurt us." Eleanor, Nathan, and Liam built a home filled with warmth, baking gingerbread, watching holiday movies, and healing together. Liam thrived, his laughter echoing through their brownstone. The lesson was profound. Love, not wealth, defines family, and redemption comes through courage, compassion, and the willingness to rebuild. Their story, like a Christmas star, shone as a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest winters, love could light the way.